People are always talking about targeting. Target this, target that, can't be targeted. Does this target? How about this? What even is targeting? Well, that's easy. Target is where all the Cali college girls go to buy shit for their dorm. And buy everything out, so I can never find basic shit in the store. And it's also a Yu-Gi-Oh mechanic. And like many Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics, Konami does a pretty bad job of explaining exactly what it is and how it works. That's the community's job, and today is my turn. Most of you guys already know how it works, so if I make any mistakes explaining it, you know the drill. Where should we start? Oh, of course, we start with cost. There's been kind of a running meme that Yu-Gi-Oh cards don't have costs, at least when compared to other TCGs. And like many people have already said, that's not exactly wrong.
This game's fucking hard, dude.
As you'll never find yourself tapping lands to pay 5 bananas and a 2002 Toyota Celica just to activate a Pot of Greed. However, Yu-Gi-Oh cards do have costs. And no, I'm not just talking about price tags. Using our detective skills, we can usually find these costs by looking for a semicolon in the card text. Quick reminder that most Yu-Gi-Oh cards these days have multiple effects, and each one may or may not have its own semicolon. So you kinda have to treat each of these individually. Now, everything in each effect before the semicolon is a cost or a condition. This cost can range from paying 1,000 life points to banishing your entire hand to forsaking your firstborn child. If there's no semicolon, then the cost is technically the amount of effort it takes to lift the card up and place it on the field. Everything after the semicolon is a card's effect, or as I call it, the part that does the thing that you want it to do. We'll get to that in a minute. You've probably noticed that these are two different actions, and it's actually abused by a few mechanics. Destiny hero Diamond Dude, or Diamond Guy, is allowed to apply just a card's effect, meaning he can skip all this BS here. And some mechanics like the Dark Worlds need to be triggered by card effect, not by the cost, or they just don't work. Now, this probably begs the question of why costs and effects are separate. And the answer is that between the cost and effect happening, other things can happen. In fact, a whole stack of things can happen. I may have forgotten that it's not called the stack and is in fact called the chain in Yu-Gi-Oh! So every time I say the word stack, I'm simply gonna put this clip of me saying chain. Okay, back to the video. The stack is a data structure in programming that's defined by the properties of being last in, first out. Wait, hang on. These are the wrong slides. Most actions in Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least the ones that don't say, fuck you can't do anything, have some level of player interaction. For example, if I activate a monster, you might be like, hey wait, no, I activate a trap. And then I might be like, hey wait, no, I protect my monster from that trap. And we could basically just Uno reverse each other all day by stacking effects on top of each other. Each time we activate an effect is called chaining and is given a number. If this is the third action in the chain, this is a chain link 3. If this is the 5th action in a chain, it's a chain link 5. If it's the 15th action in a chain, then you need to start playing a new deck, because ain't no one got time for that many chains.
Chains.
And the order that these are all being played is called the chain. And as you can probably guess, the whole system is based completely on costs and effects. When I activate anything in this game, I start by paying its cost. No matter what. And yes, it's basically insurance premium robbery. Then after I pay the cost, my opponent has the ability to hit me with the classic
Actually,
where they pay their costs. And then I have the chance to respond again. This will go on, with each of us adding a new card onto the stack and paying its respective cost, until both players decide that they hate this game and want to stop stacking cards. Once that finally happens, we can finally start resolving effects. It is very important to note that unlike games like Magic, once this resolving process starts, there's nothing either players can do other than watch all the effects resolve, kind of like watching a train wreck.
Something sticky splashed all over James.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Each effect is applied on the way down until the stack is fully resolved, no matter how much you like what's about to happen. So what does this have to do with targeting? I'm so glad you asked. Targeting is a keyword in Yu-Gi-Oh! To describe the action of a player going that one. However, it's a very specific type of that one that happens as a cost. If you read any effect that specifies the action of targeting, the act of targeting will occur before the semicolon, which means that you need to that one before giving your opponent the chance to do something. You can probably see why that might be a problem, or I guess in this case a mechanic, because this gives them a chance to do something about it. For example, if you target to get rid of a back row, they can just activate it. If you target to try and get rid of a monster, maybe they can get rid of it, or use it to activate something else. Now, since targeting is a specific keyword, there's a whole slew of mechanics and effects that are based around it.
It's enough slices!
For example, there's a whole basket full of monsters that just can't be targeted. They're like the opposite of a pick me girl, the don't pick me girl. There's also cards that can negate targeting effects, cards that can target multiple cards, and my favorite, cards that don't say target, but do indeed target, because they were created before the idea of targeting and problem-solving card texts were invented. Now, the last thing we should cover is that the existence of targeting effects implies the existence of non-targeting effects. And as many of you know, these are actually a thing. Now obviously, there's cards like Dark Hole that don't require you to go that one, since Dark Hole has the removal abilities of a Claymore. However, there's a whole realm of effects that aren't targeting effects, but do still require you to select things to apply the effect on. How does that even work? Well, this is how. Instead of picking them as part of the cost, you just pick them at the same time as you apply the effect. Yeah, that's right. You basically pick targets after your opponent does stuff. Stratos destroying back row? When you activate it, your opponent gets a choice to either activate a back row, guaranteeing you will destroy the other one, resulting in more back row removed, or activate neither and risk getting the better one destroyed. Chaos Dragon Levianeer destroying 2 cards? Yeah, change your field as much as you want, I'm destroying whatever's left. I think there's actually a few spots where this can backfire and force you to destroy your own cards, but that's only in very niche cases. But more importantly, since this mechanic has nothing to do with a keyword target, it just completely ignores any effect that attempts to interact with a targeting mechanic. Oh, I'm sorry, are you targeting immune? Well, I'm not targeting you. Oh, you negate targeting effects? This ain't a targeting effect. You get the idea. Does this really make logical sense? I don't know. I don't think so, but it's one of those things that just is because the game designers said it is. And that's it. That's what targeting is, and that's also what non-targeting is. What about when it says target after the semicolon? We'll cover that a different time. Why do these mechanics exist? Who knows? Did Konami purposefully put it in as a balancing mechanic, or just accidentally put it in when they didn't know how to use keywords? Who knows? Maybe one of you know. Let me know if you do. Whatever the case, it's one of the most asinine yet core mechanics in the game. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, you can target the subscribe button, or go watch some other videos to see if you like the content first. Leave any suggestions or hot takes in the comments, and I'll see you next time.